Mafia Definitive Edition was a roller coaster in terms of quality. It has a superb story and amazing music, but the gameplay, and especially the details, impairs the final product. Mafia offers a lot in terms of style right from the beginning: cool and interesting characters, amazing graphics, and music that itches the right scratch. The only thing I don't like with the tone and style is the bright graphics. It makes it look just a little off. The game begins in the 1920s and works its way up, jumping a few years every hour or so to eventually end in the early 1940s, and while its details around the world and gameplay lacks, I enjoyed the extreme detail in the world building of the main story. Things like Roosevelt's New Deal being mentioned on the radio is cool to hear, and adds a staggering amount to the immersion. Shallow gameplay is something that only bothers me when other parts aren't making up for the gameplay. This is such a game. While the gameplay is repetitive and awkward, and there's lots of shooting, the story compensates for the gameplay, and the result is okay gameplay. However, it still lacks polish, which makes it tedious to try to push forward to roll credits. As I said, the game is a roller coaster, especially the difficulty. Sometimes you mow down enemies without any problems, other times you're stuck on a 2-minute action sequence for 2 hours. It's rough sometimes, and lowering the difficulty every hour is soul-crushing. I'm not one that takes pride in just beating a game. I want to beat it like a champ, preferably on a higher difficulty than low or normal, as I sometimes had to play the game in. This new Mafia is a remake of a game from the early 2000s, and it doesn't feel old, as I've heard many other reviewers say. It's at least nothing you notice through your 12-hour journey. Many fans of the old game will be pleased to hear that the racing mission is back, and switching back to the last paragraph, it's hard as shit. It's pretty early in the story, which makes it a real spike to suddenly be playing the hardest mission of your life. On hard and normal mode, it's insanely difficult, and even if you get ahead of your peers in the beginning, you will eventually choke and lose all your progress. It's kind of like that one hard as shit boss with multiple phases. You can beat the first few phases, but you can almost never practice on the later ones to actually beat the boss. Eventually I settled on just swallowing my pride and lowering the difficulty to low, and that was almost too easy. Verdict: the game is frankly great, but I will probably never play it again. It felt like a chore in between moments of greatness, a superb story, but half-assed gameplay that left a sour taste in my mouth. It's a great game that didn't get enough time in the oven. Next time on Robot Reviews, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.